Hello, and thanks for joining us today. My name is Doug, and this is the Wired Nerdy Podcast featuring retro reviews. We are continuing our quick look into the Fallout series with a look back at Fallout Tactics. This game gets a bad rap because it's not canon to the rest of the series. For those who don't know, canon means it follows the same storyline or is the same universe, timeline, and so on. You know, not that thing cannonballs are shot out of. Canon is usually used to describe Marvel movies, DC comics, DC movies, that sort of thing, as well as Star Wars, Star Trek, anything that is beloved to you. Getting back on track, Fallout Tactics is released in 2001 by Micro Forte and 14 Degrees West. It was a departure from the traditional isometric RPG format of its predecessors. Instead, it shifted gears to a squad-based tactical combat system set in the post-apocalyptic wasteland we've come to know and love. Before we look at the game, we have to look at Micro Forte, who started in 1985 as an Australian electronics company and was founded by John D. Margheriti. Margheriti is considered by some as the godfather of gaming for Australia. He also helped create the Australian Game Developers Conference, or AGDC, and the Academy of Interactive Entertainment. Other games made by Micro Forte were America's Cup Challenge, Demon Stalkers, Fire King, and even Hot Wheels Bash Arena. 14 Degrees West was a strategy division of Interplay. You know, those people that made Fallout 1 and Fallout 2, along with many other great titles. 14 Degrees West had titles such as Hostile Waters and TS Rising, Redneck Racing, and several Star Trek games such as Klingon Academy, Starfleet Command, and New Worlds. Looking past the canon and all the bad press, as you will say, for Fallout Tactics, I say look past the storyline, look past what others have posted, and check it out for yourself, and enjoy it for what it is. A great squad-based tactical RPG set in the world we love, the nuclear wasteland that is Fallout. The game starts off as an initiate of the Brotherhood of Steel, where you get a little pep talk from General Decker of the Brotherhood. Do you recognize his voice? Well, of course you do, because it's none other than Kurtwood Larson Smith. Now, if that name sounds familiar to you, of course it does, because RoboCop, Broken Arrow, That 70s Show, and even some stints on Star Trek. General Decker tells you he needs to recruit some new blood. He'll encounter beast lords, mutants, and a robot army. More to follow on that. As you play, you'll visit tons of locations such as Chicago, Kansas City, St. Louis, and many more. Before we can set out on this adventure, we need to make a character. Fallout Tactics gives us 5 pre-made initiates you can create, or you can create your own. The choices are Mick, Snake, Peter, Betty, and Wilma. Mick is going to be good for those who want some higher starting hit points and higher agility and endurance stats. The downside is Mick is a little dense, and he's not that popular with a charisma of only 3. He will be great, though, with some small guns, melee, and throwing weapons. Snake is just as his name suggests, a sneaky little devil with excellent agility, sneaking, and stealing skills, and a medium range of other special stats. Remember what special stands for? Well, check my previous Fallout videos where I explain it in great detail. Peter is a character I find myself going to a lot. He has medium to high starting stats and is great at first aid and has some doctor perks. You will get excellent intelligence and perception skills for speech, bartering, and checking those hidden traps. Don't pass up Peter, because every team needs a good medic that actually heals. Cough, cough. You know, talking to you, Battlefield. Betty is great if you're looking for an average player to start. None of her skills are that high, but she starts with a high trap perk and is good with small guns. And last but definitely not least is Wilma. She kind of has that cray-cray look to her, but it holds true with her high unarmed combat perk. She also enjoys melee and throwing weapons. Think Harley Quinn, but more radiation and less cute one-liners. If none of these meet your needs, you can always create your own character. Tactics gives us options like name change, age, race, sex, and headshot, or different faces to choose from. You can also change your starting clothing or colors. Between your special, your skills, optional traits, there are a ton of ways to make the game more personal to you and your playstyle. The first thing I would do before exploring the Wasteland is check your settings. This will definitely change how you play the game. You have some normal options like difficulty messages, language, and violence or blood level. Of course, I queued the max blood level Tarantino style. Some options you may not be familiar with are run mode, formations, turn-based, and fast turn-based. Run mode is how you interact with your team. I picked a smart run to choose between walking during stealth or running during combat. Formations is just how it sounds. It can help you from not fragging your battle buddy during those intense combat scenes. There are 3 types of turn-based moves. The one I enjoy and you will find pre-selected by default is CTB or continuous turn-based mode. Did you say no crappy action points? Oh, this is my game. Well, not exactly, but instead of ending your turn, they slowly or greatly regenerate, based on your skills and perks. The next option is individual or ITB mode, which takes us back to the style of Fallout 1 and Fallout 2. Taking turns, action points, ending your turn, gross. The last option is squad-based or STB mode. It is similar to ITB, but it allows you to move all of your squad before the NPCs or computer make their move. You'll definitely want to play around with these settings before you start for maximum enjoyment. So we've got our settings. Let's get back to the game. Once we get our characters and settings perfected, we find ourselves on our first mission in the outskirts of Chicago, trying to recruit some new blood. You'll find you're accompanied by 2 other companions, Farsight and Stitch. These are 2 great starters, as Farsight is a great sniper and Stitch is a pretty good medic. These are just 2 of more than 60 companions you have to choose from, each having their own strengths and weaknesses. No spoiler alerts here. You need to go out and see all these companions, where you can find them, and how you can activate them or unlock them, because it's a lot of fun. Using the CTB playstyle, I found combat, searching for items, and talking, bartering, moving around was way more enjoyable. I also enjoyed the almost immediate refresh of my action points. The inventory seems more polished than the previous 2 entries. Fallout Tactics is all about strategic decision-making and tactical combat. Whether you're engaging in turn-based battles against raiders and mutants or completing mission objectives in real time, every action you take has consequences. The AI provides a decent challenge, forcing players to think carefully about positioning, cover, and resource management. And with a variety of mission types, including rescues, assassinations, and even sabotages, there's always something new and exciting to sink your teeth into. Now, if walking or running around is too slow for you, there are several vehicles available in Tactics. Everything from armored personnel carriers to Humvees to tanks and even buggies. But you had to pre-order. But you better beware, vehicles do have hit points, and don't take kindly to mines or explosives or the occasional strafing of bullets. But you can safely repair the vehicle from inside its safe confines using repair kits, or if you have a good repair stat on your character. With any Fallout game, we have a slew of weapons to choose from, everything from brass knuckles to throwing knives to that trusty old spear. If this is too close quarters for you, then get yourself a pistol such as the Colt 45, the Mauser, or that Browning High Point. SMGs and shotguns return, along with rifles, including the basic hunting rifle, AK-47, and a sniper. We get a little fancier later in the game with M14s and a Steyr AUG. You know, think Nakatomi Plaza and John McClane. If these are not big enough carnage for you, you can try machine guns, energy weapons, grenades, mines, explosives, and so on. In conclusion, I have found memories and probably close to hundreds of hours in Fallout Tactics. It may have taken a different approach to the Fallout formula, but it's a worthy addition to the franchise in its own right. With its deep character customization, diverse arsenal of weapons, immersive locations, and engaging gameplay, it offers a fresh take on the post-apocalyptic experience. So if you're a fan of strategy games or just looking for another excuse to explore the wasteland, you definitely need to give Fallout Tactics a try. I hope you liked this short review from a Wired Nerdy podcast. As always, please hit that thumbs up, subscribe, and check out our weekly podcast on Spotify, Apple, and all other major podcast apps. We are also available in video format on Spotify and YouTube. Stay tuned for more retro reviews coming soon. Thank you.